All right, so you've landed on the right video. If you are having some trouble trying to figure out what you want your brand name to be, what you want to name your business, and you also landed in the right spot if you want to know some options for the different types of brand names that are out there. So if you feel like you're in the right spot, stay tuned. We're about to get started. All right, you guys, welcome back. My name is Shanae Washington, creative brand strategist and owner of Join Forward Media, and I'm so glad to have you here. Now, today, we are talking about how to choose the right business name. Now, some of y'all may be in y'all feelings a little bit, but we're going to talk about that too. So, before we go any further, if you're not subscribed, if you're not locked in with me, please go on ahead and lock in with me because why not? I'm having these conversations every week about how to build your brand and also how to utilize different parts of your brand strategy. You should have a brand strategy, but how to utilize different parts of the brand strategy to grow your business in ways that make sense. All right, so first off, I'm gonna say this. As a designer, someone who has done logos and websites and all those visual branding things, some of y'all be tripping with these names, quite frankly. And the funny thing is, whenever I would ask, well, what was your motivation behind, what was your inspiration behind naming your business this? They would say something to the degree of, oh, I just like the name, or that was my child's name, or that's my dog's name, or I don't know, I just thought about it and I just thought it fit, but no actual reason that's marketable. Because I'm going to tell you, don't nobody care about any of that stuff. And you have to make it connect to the business. And you have to remember that your business is not about you. And I think that's usually where the issues start. And I'm gonna even rewind back from that. The issues start where y'all start your business based off of the name of the business. That's usually how I go. Y'all get an idea that you want to start a business. First thing you do is you think of a name. The second thing you do is you create a logo. The next thing you do is create a website. And then you like, okay, I'm ready for business. I may get some business cards or whatever, and I'm ready for business. But you didn't miss, so you pretty much then started building your brand without any substance. You don't have any offers, you don't have any idea about who you are as a brand, which leads to you not being able to communicate or articulate exactly what it is that you do. So you have to have that foundation first. And I'm not saying that your emotional story to whatever you decide to name your brand isn't important. What I'm saying is you need to find a way to tie that important story for you into why it should be important to your target audience. That's why it's so important to get your brand strategy done, to get the substance of your brand before you start going down that rabbit hole. Let me go through why you need a brand strategy so much, right? So I just said it. So first thing is you need clarity on who you are as a brand and what problems are you solving. You need clarity on what problems that you're solving. The second thing is you need absolute understanding and clarity over who your target audience is. Period. You need to know who these people are and you need to know what keeps them up at night. And how does your solution help them? What is the transformation that they are going to receive by tapping in with whatever solution that you have? The next thing is you need to know what your secret sauce is. Like, what makes you different? What makes you stand out from your competitors? Because that's also something that I see is that so much of y'all's brain power goes to the brand name and stuff, but really y'all just copying, y'all taking bits and pieces of what y'all finding on Instagram and what y'all finding online and stuff. You're taking bits and pieces of everybody's brand and trying to put it together. And I mean, yeah, you could do that. People do it all the time. But when we're talking about building something that's going to outlive you, because that's what we want. We want to build something that's going to outlive us, that we could pass on to our children and all the things. So you need to figure out what makes you and your solution and the way you deliver it special. And you need to know what your goals are. What are your future goals for your business? And I'm talking about 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. What is the ultimate goal? Why did you start this business? So, those four things that I just named, you need all of that. And that's just a surface level version of the brand strategy. But you need those answers before you can start thinking about a brand name. Usually, when I'm working with brand strategy clients, we don't get to the name until almost the end. We have done all of the work, all of the research, and we don't come up with a name till almost the end when it's time to start putting visuals together. That's when we come up with that. So first we need to get on track with the process and how we go about starting businesses or starting brands or starting a service or creating a product that we are trying to brand. So I figured it only be fitting to share with you how I came up with my business name. So my agency's name is Dream Forward Media. And my story is actually a personal story, but I'm going to show you how I connected it to my target audience. So, for all of y'all that are in y'all 30s, you probably remember the movie Meet the Robinsons. And in the movie, the mantra was keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. That was the mantra throughout the movie. And that was something that I always resonated with because my personality, I'm really a futuristic thinker. Like it's a part of my DNA. And I'm always thinking about what's next and how could this be better. Just because we've always done it this way doesn't exactly make it right. That just means that we haven't thought of a better way to do it. So I don't like living in the past. I like living in the right now while I'm planning for the future because I can't do nothing about the past. I can do something about right now though, and I can do something about where I'm going. And I vividly have dreams about my clients. I have dreams about my own future and goals and all of those things. Like I see it playing out. And that's where a lot of my creative ideas come from. And I was like, I'm always dreaming of the future. And then I was like, what if I put these two words together and I tell my clients to keep dreaming forward? And then I was like, that might be a tagline. So why don't we just say dream forward? Because I don't want clients that's only worried about things that somebody else is doing. I don't want clients that are consumed with what has been. I only want clients that can imagine and see the possibilities and that are open to ideas that are not their own, that they're open to the possibilities of what their brand or what their business could be. So I need people with a mindset of moving forward. They always want to be innovative. They always want to move forward. They don't want to be like everybody else. So That's how I connected it with my target audience. And I must say that those are typically the kind of clients that I get now once I kind of refine my messaging to be in alignment with my purpose and my mission and my vision. So I started attracting those people and they started resonating with the name. So that's how I came up with Dream Forward Media. And I got the media part because, I do all of the things. So all the things media related, videography, photography, graphics, um, marketing, everything, all the things creative, I do it. So that's how we came up with the name. All right, so in case you didn't know, there are 7 different types of brand names that you can choose from. So the first type of brand name is descriptive. And this type of name makes it immediately clear on what it is that your business does. So think like General Motors, literally in the name. You know exactly what it is that they do. The second one is invented names. So all that means is that it's completely made up. And invented names are actually really unique and they're usually super brandable because they're so unique. And you make it connect with the right branding and marketing. And most people think like a made up name like Google, but Google did such a great job with their branding. Like now, when you search the internet, their name is associated with internet search. Ain't nobody out here saying, I need to go Bing it. Everybody's saying, oh, well, did you Google it? So they made meaning to their name that they came up with. Okay, the third thing is compound names. And that's kind of like my name, like Dream Forward. And these names basically combine 2 words to create a new meaning. So I just gave you an example of Dream Forward. Also think like Facebook, right? And these names, they're typically clever and catchy and memorable. And it can really show kind of more like how you can bring two worlds or 2 identities or 2 ideas together to make one. So I really like compound names when it makes sense. The fourth thing is acronyms. Now, I really love acronyms. When I was in college, I was in this organization called the National Society of Black Engineers. And the acronym was NSBE, or is NSBE. And sidebar, yes, I was definitely an engineering major in college before I changed to marketing. Whole nother story, another video. But in this organization, there are so many acronyms in there, and I cannot forget them even if I tried to. It just kind of made things easier within like leadership and just kind of like internally. Now, of course, the outside world, anybody outside of the organization didn't know all of the acronyms and stuff, which it wasn't meant for that. But so acronyms are really just abbreviations formed from like initial letters of other words. So I just gave you the example of NSBE. Also think like IBM. And another reason that I like acronyms is because it can simplify just super long and complex names. And I'm gonna be honest, some of y'all be having some really long names for no reason at all. No reason at all. I don't know why it's so long. And you have to think about one, You have to think about, is this name catchy? And how long is this domain going to be to my website? If you have this long thing, people got to think about how to spell it and all of that stuff. Like, it's gonna be hard for you to market that. It's gonna be difficult. I should say it's not impossible, but it would be difficult. So acronyms take a lot of branding effort to attach a meaning and an emotion to your audience. All right, so the fifth thing is founder names. Now, these names are obviously based on the name of the founder or a significant person to the business or the organization or whatever the case. And I really like founder names for legacy reasons. And I don't mind a business being named after you or after yourself or after someone. However, the main questions you need to ask is, one, does this person have a strong positive reputation? The second thing is, what is their story and why should it connect with the audience? Why does it connect with the product or the service that you're offering? So, when I was saying earlier in the beginning of the video, like, you're naming it after your child, okay, cool. You want to name the business after your child. Okay, so what about your child? Is it about their personality that you're trying to convey? What is it about their story will make it meaningful to someone else so that it's memorable for them, not for you, but for them? So we have to remember to start taking our personal emotions out of it. So number 6 is metaphor names. These names use metaphors or symbols to convey a brand's essence or values. So I want you to think Amazon. And that basically implies like the vastness and the variety, basically meaning that they have all the things. Anything that you want, you can find it on Amazon more than likely. Now, I like metaphors because they can evoke a strong imagery, like a strong image, and really strong emotional responses. So, these are typically really good brand names for storytelling, in which every brand needs a level of storytelling. But businesses that have metaphor names, storytelling is definitely going to be their bread and butter. And the last one is geographic names. Now, these names obviously are referring to a physical geographic location, like KFC, like Kentucky Fried Chicken. Like, these names help mostly to localize a brand and create a sense of cultural authenticity to said area. Now, this works really well for businesses that want to put emphasis on like heritage and culture and like homegrown, like those type of things. Like, I'm from New Orleans. I live in New Orleans. It's so many 504, NOLA, it's so many of those types of businesses here. And plus, our culture here is so rich with the food and the music and the people and, Mardi Gras and the festivals and like all the things. Like, we have a very rich culture here. So it's easy to pull from the culture if you're from here, because people that's here, they are going to identify with you when you do pull from the culture. So when it makes sense, I definitely think, that you should do that when it makes sense. So, all right. So, final tips for choosing your brand name. So I just gave you a whole list of the types of brand names. Now, my final thoughts are: one, recap. You need to know your brand in and out. Two, you need to keep it simple and memorable. 3, you need to make it relatable to your audience, not just to you, but to your audience. The next thing is to think about the future, and can this name grow with you? When I was in high school, side story. When I was in high school, I had an email address. That email address, Lord, could not come with me as into adulthood. It was cutie with a booty 2005. That was the year I graduated. That name could not come with me into adulthood. So, just like we have silly email names when we're young and stupid and uninformed, and you immediately, as you get into college and you're trying to be more serious, you immediately start to come up with a more professional and something that you're proud of type email. Same thing with your brand name. Don't pick a brand name now that's silly, that won't align with where you're trying to go in the future. It has to be able to grow with you. That's why it's important to know what your goals are so that your brand name can carry over through any kind of changes through generations and all of the things. I mean, look how long McDonald's been around. Look how long Hershey has been around. Look how long Kellogg's has been around. Like, we're still buying their shit. So those types of names, because of the brand value that they have, they're able to carry on generations and generations and generations after that. Like, all right, and the next thing is to check the availability before you lock in a name. So that means you're checking on GoDaddy or wherever you like to get your domain from. Check to make sure the website that you want is available, the website address that you want is available. Make sure that Instagram, all the social media handles that you want, make sure all of those are available before you lock in on a name. And the last thing, no, not the last thing, the second to last thing is get feedback. But let me clarify, do not get feedback from people who, one, are not going to be honest with you, and people who are just trying to be in your business but not actually, like, they don't care whether you are successful or not. That's a whole nother video for another time. But small core group of people that will actually ask you the right questions as to, why did you choose this name? Tell me what it means. The last thing is to trust your gut. You have to believe in yourself. And if the name that you chose, if you believe it with conviction and you went through some of these steps, well, go for it. Go for it. If you can't think of any reason why you shouldn't name it that, then go for it. And here's the thing about brand names. I don't always recommend a rebrand, but you can rebrand. If you later on decide, you know what, the direction that I'm going in is different now than what I originally envisioned, and the name just doesn't make sense anymore, it's okay to rebrand. So don't put too much stress on yourself, but I would also, in terms of the process, I would do a brain dump of every single word that you can think of that would remotely resonate with what it is that you're doing. Just do a brain dump. Just write it all down. Write it all down, and hell, I would even try to put it in like Chat GPT, like all the words that you write down, put it in Chat GPT and ask it to come up with some combinations, because you're trying to come up with a brand name. And you put the information that I was telling you, like from the brand strategy, your brand identity, your target audience, the problem that you solve, your secret sauce, and your goals. You put all of that in there in ChatGPT, as well as all of the words that you've already come up with, and ask it to populate you some options for some brand names, and see if something stands out and something sticks, something that you can work with. It could just be a starting point. It could be a springboard for you to think of other things. So you don't have to stress yourself out over this part, but you should be intentional with what you're doing, though. All right, you guys, I really hope that you found value in this video today. If you did, please hit the like button for me and hit the subscribe button for me if you are not locked in with me, because once again, why not? If you're interested in doing a brand audit with me where I am giving you real-time feedback on your current brand, then go on ahead and hop on a call with me. The link is going to be in the description. All right, you guys, until next week, I will see you soon. Please remember to keep dreaming forward. My name is Shanae Washington, your favorite creative brand strategist, and I'll see you next week.